Good afternoon. Thank you all for being here, or good morning, good evening, wherever you are joining us from. Welcome to the webinar for the Advanced Manufacturing Innovation for Maritime Readiness Challenge. My name is Katie Bornfleth. I represent Tech Connect, and I'm going to go over a brief overview, timeline, how to apply, and Q&A. But before I dive into all of that, I would love for us to focus our attention to the experts in the room, our speakers, Marty Ryan. Marty, if you'll give us a wave, the Vice President for Naval Technologies with Advanced Technology International, and Scott McGinnis, the Program Manager also with Advanced Technology International. They're going to get into the nitty-gritty, the details, the big questions, the who, what, when, where, why, the meat behind this, and why we're doing it. So I would highly encourage you. We're going to have a Q&A at the end, about 15 to 20 minutes worth, to ask them questions. You have their attention. They're in the room. They are the brains behind this. So make sure you put your questions in the question box over there. It's on your control panel, and we'll get to that at the end. All right, so why are we doing this challenge? The goal is to advance maritime dominance through manufacturing innovation. We're looking for dual-use technologies to modernize U.S. shipbuilding, to support the Navy's mission, and to advance that April 2025 executive order to revitalize U.S. maritime power. So we're targeting innovations that are going to boost maintenance, industrial capacity, and readiness. All right, here are the areas of interest. I'm not going to go into all of them. They are located on the challenge page. I will post that in the chat here in just a little bit so that you can digest that, see where you fit in at your leisure. But onto the timeline, obviously we've launched. There's a lot of buzz around this, so people are excited. Make sure you get your submissions in by June 17th. That's an important day. Finalists chosen will be notified in early July, and there's going to be up to 20. So look out for that. And then the actual pitch date is going to be on August 7th. It's going to be held at the Maritime Innovation Forum at the Navy Yard in Washington, D.C. All right, how do you apply? If you have a phone, take it out, take a snapshot if you're able. If not, no big deal. The link's at the bottom. You don't need to write it down either. I will also put that in the chat, so just look for that in just a minute here. And then the big date to remember is June 17th. And then if we don't cover your question, or if you have extra things you want to know before submission deadline, I would like to turn your attention to Laura Murphy. She is the Senior Project Manager running this challenge, so she can answer all things challenge related. And if you're just coming in, once again, I want to remind you, put your questions in the Q&A box. We're going to get to that at the end. But for now, I would love to go ahead and hand the floor over to Marty and Scott.
Hello, everyone. I'm Marty Ryan. I'm the division lead for Naval Technologies at ATI, and Scott and I are going to be talking to you today. I'm going to handle the first couple of topics, and then I'll turn it over to Scott. We're going to go through kind of why we're here, what the challenges are in shipbuilding at a very high level, some of the resources that are being applied to address these challenges, some of the resources that are available to industry and to the Navy, and then I'll hand it over to Scott, and he'll cover the advanced manufacturing strategy for the Navy, and then tie it all together for our August 7th event that we're holding this challenge. So I'll start stepping through that. Just a little background, as we all know, right? The U.S. builds the most sophisticated submarines and surface combatants in the world, right? Bar none, it's not really even close, right? Our technical capability is unmatched and provides our commanders and sailors with the tools to carry out their missions. What is not unmatched is our capacity. Other nations can crank out submarines and surface combatants at a much greater rate than we can. And so as over the last few years, certainly the White House and Congress and the Navy have been looking to spool up and increase our rates If you think, 10, 12 years ago, we were building 1.2 Virginia-class submarines a year. We're now building 2 a year, and now we're adding 1 Columbia-class to that, where we're actually building 3 submarines now. Add in the AUKUS agreement with England and Australia, where we're going to be selling some of our subs to the Australians as well, and it's easy to see where the capacity starts to become an issue for us. Throw in the executive order that Katie mentioned from the Trump administration, restoring America's maritime dominance, which is to revitalize U.S. shipbuilding and maritime industries, so that those resources are going to be competing against the resources that the Navy needs to build their ships. The Trump administration has also talked about wanting 40 icebreakers. Depending on how you count them, we have 1, 3, or 27 icebreakers today, depending on what size you care about. But in any case, that's going to add a significant load to what we have to get accomplished in the next few years. So we have an increase in the submarine and surface combatant production, while at the same time an increase on our commercial shipbuilding, and this creates quite a few challenges, which many of us are very much aware of. Right, the first being shipbuilding workforce. Our shipyards today have a little bit of trouble just maintaining the workforce that they need to get today's ships and boats built. Adding to that is just going to create a greater concern for workforce. Our infrastructure is potentially a problem. Although we can create some of the most incredible pieces of technology, our shipyards also have some portions of their yards that are 40, 50, 60 years old. And if we want to expand some of those yards, they don't have any room to expand. They are completely boxed in by the area that they're in, and they couldn't expand even if they wanted to. On top of that, if you're going to increase what your shipyard capacity, they've got supply chains, of course, that supply them. We need a proportional increase in the supply chains as well. And already today, right, there are numerous things that we have trouble getting in the amounts that we need. Easily castings and forgings come to mind, but plenty of other things also fit that challenge. There's also a challenge for a reliable source of critical materials, everything from steel down to the rarest of rare earths, right? We face shortages all the time, and that's not going to get any better unless we find ways to address that. And then finally, it's the contracting. How quickly can we do all of this? We have the best contracting system on the planet. It ensures fairness and competition and openness, but I think we can all agree it is also way too slow. And that's a challenge that the Navy and the rest of the Department of Defense is working on very hard. So when you take a look at those challenges, Naval Sea Systems Command and the Navy in general has been devoting some resources over the last few years to try and address these. For shipbuilding workforce, for instance, back in 2021, the Office of Secretary of Defense, as well as the Navy, devoted some significant dollars to enhance the workforce development in this country. If you watch any television at all, you have seen the buildsubmarines.com commercials. That is a comprehensive program to recruit and train the workforce that we need to get all of these ships built, both naval and commercial, to be quite frank. On the infrastructure side, for the public yards, Congress has provided, back in 2017, provided the Shipbuilding Infrastructure Optimization Program that provides $1 billion a year to upgrade the infrastructure in the public yards. And the Navy, as well as OSD, have been funding infrastructure improvements across the supply chain as well. For the supply chain itself, the efforts that have been going on across the Navy have been focused largely on the supply chain by trying to, just simply providing money to Electric Boat and Newport News and Ingalls and Bath. They have been attempting to fund the actual supply chain and improve their capabilities. That is ongoing and will continue for some time. As far as critical materials, the the White House as well as Congress are laser focused on that. We're all aware of the various initiatives that are starting up now to try and address those issues so that we have a reliable source of critical materials as we move forward. Another huge piece of this that has been funded by OSD as well as the Navy is the advanced manufacturing piece. It's one thing to get enough people to build the submarines and the surface combatants, but we're also going to need plenty of advanced manufacturing to make things move quicker, move smoother. The Navy has invested in advanced manufacturing for many, many years, but that investment has increased significantly in the last 3 or 4, and we anticipate a significant increase in that in the years ahead. Scott will provide some more detail on the advanced manufacturing strategy when I turn the mic over to him. The other challenge I mentioned is the contracting challenge. The Navy leadership has encouraged their program managers to start to utilize other transactions agreements as much as possible going forward. If you're not familiar with an OTA, it's a streamlined acquisition vehicle that makes it much easier for companies that traditionally have not done work with the government. It makes it much easier for them to then work with the government. And one of the added benefits of that is it speeds up the process because it's more streamlined. There's a lot less requirements and it's far more flexible. So the Navy has made that mandate down to its working level. To be looking to use OTAs as much as possible. The Navy has a number of OTA resources at its disposal. We have, for most of the warfare centers across the Navy, they have their own existing OTAs in place. Many of them have been up for 6 or 7 years at this point. There are 8 or 9 across the Navy at this point. And I'll step through several of those just so you're aware of it. If you go to ati.org and click on the collaborations button up near the top there, a screen will pop up with about more than 30 programs on it. 10 of those programs are specific Navy programs. If you go to the middle of that page, the Maritime Sustainment Technology and Innovation Consortium is there. It is Naval Surface Warfare Center Philadelphia's OTA. To address their requirements. If you click on that, you can take a look at what their requirements are. Likewise, you can go to Naval Undersea Warfare Center Newport's Undersea Technology Innovation Consortium. Again, the information is there, how you can join. In most cases, these are free consortia. In other cases, it's a nominal fee, $500 or $1,000 or something like that. But in most cases, they're free. We also have the Naval Surface Warfare Center Dahlgren Division, Naval Surface Technology and Innovation Consortium. Naval Surface Warfare Center Indian Head has its Navy Energetic System and Technology Consortium. Those are the things that go boom, right? Lots of work there. Naval Surface Warfare Center Crane has its Expeditionary Missions Consortium. And then a slightly different type of program, NAVCO5 has the National Shipbuilding Research Program. This has been in existence since, in its current form, since about 1998. And this is a unique situation where the major shipyards in the U.S. come together and look to do technology development that's going to lift the entire shipbuilding industry for the U.S. That is a NAVCO5 endeavor that we announced in March will be moving under the DERPM for the Maritime Industrial Base, and that's in the works now that it'll move under there. We also have an information warfare research program that supports Naval Information Warfare Center Atlantic. It also supports LANT. And those are all OTAs that are available for the Navy to use and for the industry to tap into. In addition to that, we also have several advanced manufacturing programs that you'll find on there. The Navy Office of Naval Research conducts the Navy Mantech program. They utilize 7 centers of excellence to do that. ATI manages the Composites Manufacturing Technology Center, the Navy Shipbuilding and Advanced Manufacturing Center, as well as the Metalworking Center, 3 of those 7 centers of excellence. Those are FAR-based programs, but they are specifically focused on advanced manufacturing. And these Mantech programs have been around since the mid-'80s across all of the services. So, so with that, all of those resources are available. And we are focused here on this event for the advanced manufacturing strategy. Scott, I'm going to turn it over to you to handle that and how the challenge feeds into the August 7 event. Scott,
Scott, we can't hear you.
it was working fine 10 minutes ago. It's amazing how this stuff can happen.
Yeah, technology man. Maybe Marty, if you mute, let's see if that helps.
We'll do so.
Hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now, Scott.
Okay, great. Sorry. Yeah, it gets us all, I'm sure. My name is Scott McGinnis. Thank you, Marty, for bringing us to this point. I have about 5 minutes of prepared remarks, and in that 5 minutes, what I hope to do is take my experience in from Silicon Valley and from DC and from 30 years in the United States Navy and bridge the gap between where innovation can help our Navy. Hope to frame the conversation a little bit with what kind of crisis we're in and why advanced manufacturing is important to get us there. So I'm at ATI, and we are supporting hosting a Maritime Innovation Forum on August 7th. The crux of that forum is the challenge that you all are interested in, and in that is to show innovative ideas to the Navy in response to their call for that technology in their 2024, which is their most recent advanced manufacturing strategy. To begin and kick off the forum on August 7th will be Vice Admiral Downey, the NAV Sea Systems commander, and then a panel of senior Navy officials to talk about shipbuilding, the innovation needed, the success stories, and what they're looking for. Following that will be the challenge event, and that really, I'm very excited to be able to get our Navy and assist our Navy in getting back to maritime dominance. So I can't speak for the Navy, so I want to make sure that was up front, but I'm going to try to translate some of what the Navy says into more actual insights. In the words of Matt Sermon, who is the direct reporting program manager for the Maritime Industrial Base, Katie, please give me a speeding ticket if I use too many acronyms. I will try to define each one. So DERPM MIB, Matt Sermon. So he's going to be at the forum on August 7th. He recently published a paper, recently meaning this week, in Navy Proceedings. And he says the path, quote unquote, the path out of this crisis must be paved with transformational manufacturing methods that bring the U.S. capacity for innovation to bear, unquote. So if you do not track the crisis we are currently in, briefly from the Government Accountability Office, or the GAO, quote unquote, despite nearly doubling its shipbuilding budget over the last 2 decades, the U.S. Navy hasn't increased its number of ships. And so the Navy's overarching plan consists of 2 strategic ends. One is readiness for the possibility of war with China by 2027, and 2, enhancing the Navy's long-term advantage. Both of these strategy goals require more ships. The CBO, or Congressional Budget Office, nonpartisan, they did an analysis of the Navy's shipbuilding plan for 2025 and concluded, quote unquote, the Navy's 2025 plan would cost 46% more annually in real terms, and that's adjusted to remove the effects of inflation, than the average amount appropriated over the past 5 years. And they also concluded that the fleet size, the number of battle force ships, would increase from 295 today to 390 in 2054. Before increasing, however, the fleet would become smaller in the near term, falling to 283 ships in 2027. So that's within the next 2 years. And if you're not tracking, it's called the Davidson window, named after Admiral Davidson, the Indo-PACOM commander previous to the current. In 2027 is the year China is anticipated to attempt to take Taiwan by force if necessary. Having our ship inventory numbers at 283 is insufficient, I think, by anyone's measure. So in summary, larger budgets, which may or may not occur, is not the way to get there. The only way to get there is through efficiency improvements, through innovation, and that's where each one of you come in. And before I go on, I want to caveat, building a naval ship is incredibly complex and hard work. The submarines I was fortunate to go to sea on were incredible. So please don't take anything I say as critical of our national treasures we call our shipyards, only that we need to bring the whole of the country's innovation towards increasing the efficiency by which they produce these engineering marvels. Innovation, it's a broad term. So how does the Navy define this? So I'm going to, again, try to anchor everything I say in reference based from the Navy's words. So it's, but lay it out cleanly or translate my words. So as an RDA, it's called the Assistant Secretary of the Navy for Research, Development, and Acquisition, who has also been invited to the forum and probably will be on the panel. Their advanced manufacturing strategy has laid out 3 lines of effort. One of them is harness cutting-edge commercial capabilities for strategic advancement. So kind of boiling what that means down, they say like new designs of ships are not possible with traditional fabrication methods. Think like going from like riveting an aircraft from Rosie to the Riveter in World War II to composite materials today. How much different producing a Boeing is than a World War II aircraft. And they're also looking for dual use innovations. I say like those critical to building a Tesla car. So if you think of like Tesla, you go back to their Fremont facility, which was bought in 2010 from GM and Toyota for $42 million. They now produce 560,000 vehicles. And if you've walked the line like I have, you notice it's all robotic. So it's the exact same facility. So think of a shipyard today, Norfolk Naval Shipyard, Pearl Harbor Naval Shipyard, some antiquated materials, not gut it, but enhance it with large robotics, enhancing the workforce, workflows, making it more efficient. And right now, like a Virginia-class submarine that Marty mentioned, takes about 5 years or 60 months to produce. Can we get that down to 2 years? And what advanced manufacturing does that take? The second line of effort in the as an RDA or the Assistant Secretary's strategy is modernize organic depots and strengthen intermediate capabilities. So to translate that into car repair, think of an intermediate facility as the work your local dealership will do to keep your car running smoothly. So these are all actually defined by the Defense Acquisition University and in Title 10 U.S. Code 2460, again, reference based. And approximately 55% of DoD or Department of Defense fiscal 2014 depot level work was accomplished in organic facilities. What that means is about half of it's done private and half of it's done public on these depot level, which is even, we'll say, more maintenance intense than the intermediate. And then lastly, strengthen warfighter self-sufficiency for mission success. That's a level of effort. But what I want you to think about is what's called the tactical edge, or maybe just a ship at sea. So ships at sea, 1,000 miles from anywhere, or at least 1,000 miles from a friendly coast, and in the middle of combat, I don't know, a compartment's flooded. How do you get in there? Can you get in there with a robot and repair that? That's repairing at the tactical edge. Or if a valve breaks due to the harsh sea environment, can you additively manufacture that at sea on that ship to repair that unit and not have to come back into port? So a ship in port, again, you're 1,000 miles from somewhere. Come back to a friendly nation to get your ship repaired, takes you out of the battle for about a month or two. You can look at any time, any in World War II, and that's just unacceptable. So you may be saying like, sure, what type of innovations are they looking for specifically? Because all those are pretty broad. So the Navy strategy in page 1 of the executive summary gives a number of exact technologies that they're looking for. I'm not going to summarize them there, but they are all captured by our challenge websites that Katie put in the notes. I want to say lastly, this month, that same article, Matt Sermon, in charge of the Maritime Industrial Base for the Defense Department, and Admiral Weeks, who's in charge of building our strategic submarines, co-authored an article in the Proceedings Journal. It's the preeminent thought periodical of the Navy. The title is literally like this week, How Technological Innovation is Key to Shipbuilding Capacity. In the article, Mr. Sermon and Admiral Weeks expound on 5 tech areas for advanced manufacturing that would benefit naval shipbuilding. So those were specific advanced manufacturing, robotics, non-destructive testing, workforce efficiency, and modernization of paper-driven processes. And then in this article, I just, Google it. It'll take 4 seconds to get there. They clearly lay out how these innovations improve the efficiency and throughput of building and maintaining our Navy ships. So innovations that your team have in these areas, particularly proven and scalable, would be of interest to our Navy audience. With that, I'm going to pause, Katie, for questions. But first, I just want to say thank you for your interest in the Maritime Innovation Challenge, and I hope to meet you at the forum on August 7th. And thank you for your efforts in building the world's greatest Navy. Thanks.
All right, thank you so much, Marty and Scott. Let's get into the questions. All right, the first one, how many ideas are allowed per organization? Our organization has several locations and each business is slightly different. Okay, the answer to that is there's no limit, I believe. Is that correct, guys?
No limit.
All right, fantastic. Next. Is it possible to provide a copy of the recording? Oh, so we can share with our teams. We will have this posted on techconnect.org right after it's over. So yes, share away. We would love for that to happen. Thank you, Jonathan. All right, next we have, there's a lot of them in here, guys. Give me a minute. We're reading through these things. All right. Enhancing capacity is a huge focus, but the sustainment of our existing fleet struggles to get industry buy-in. Is there a new vision for sustaining the new systems compromising this expanded fleet? Who wants to take that?
Oh, I'll take it. We all see this, right? People talk about the building of the new um, of our new ships and boats, but equally important is the repair and maintenance side of it, the sustainment side. We have to keep the ones that we have operational. And everything that we've seen out of the Navy over the last few years is paying very close attention to the repair and maintenance side of the house as well. So as you're looking at innovations, if you've got something that's more on the repair side, don't hesitate. Right, we're absolutely looking at that as well.
How do we build our ships in the first place to need less sustainment? So those type of technologies, like, if you look at a Tesla, again, I hate to, sorry to harp on Tesla, but no oil change. You know how many times I don't have to take my car to get an oil change? It's amazing. And that's the equivalent on a ship would be, I don't have to do intermediate maintenance. I could just keep it at sea, come in, get some food and go back out. That's where the sustainment piece and the innovation, the sustainment piece could be appreciated.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Marty. Will pitch day be open to the public or registered guests?
So I can answer that. So open to the public, but you need to be a registered guest. The registration site is live. It's connected to the challenge website, and we would love to see you register, and we could take up to about 900 people.
Okay, fantastic. Let's see. What is the anticipated technology readiness level that will be a good fit for this challenge?
So the people in the room for the Navy PMs and the tech warrant holders who are in the room for this challenge, they have issues that they're dealing with today. So I would certainly say the higher the TRL level, the more interest they're going to get. But we're all well aware that there are plenty of things out there that can't be solved by something off the shelf today. So certainly anything from TRL 3 to 7 is well within the scope here. I just caveat, right, that the closer it is to being ready, the more attention it'll get immediately. But I also want to emphasize that it's not just the Navy PMs who are going to be taking a look at these. ATI's subject matter experts will be reading all of it, and we have numerous programs across various TRL levels. So the opportunity is there that we're going to learn something some capability that you have, and we'll be able to reach out to you and try and match you up with something else that's going on. So please don't hesitate. I'd say anything from TRL 3 to 7, even TRL 8, I guess, is fair game.
Like to add, Marty, this is good. We are diametrically opposed. I would like to add, if you read that article I talked about from this last month's proceedings, it says in there, the Navy shipyards have been behind in incorporating today's technology. So even if you have a TRL, like a proven tech, like I know we call it the Innovation Forum, but something that is proven in, we'll say, car manufacturing, and you think it could go into shipyard, that is also a needed innovation. Just a dual use, I don't know, whatever you produce HVAC systems. Can that, and you make them efficiently, quickly, can that be put into a Navy ship and to do the exact same thing? That is an innovation that should be considered, even if it's seriously like been in use for 2 or 3 years. It's just not in use in the shipyard. That also can be considered an innovation, especially in the Navy world.
Great point, Scott. All right, so we have one that asks, additive manufacturing and 3D printing is a broad category. Are additive manufactured electronics also within this area?
My initial answer is going to be yes. As we think about, yes, from the standpoint of where they impact, shipbuilding, absolutely. Scott, correct me if I'm wrong. We are certainly focusing more on getting the superstructures built, as opposed to the actual weapon systems themselves and some of the other places where typically you'd find the electronics. But Scott, help me out here. Do you think there's more on the electronic side we can be looking at?
I'm surprised. I'm always surprised at things I don't know. I did not think about additive manufacturing in electronics. And so the glee I get by all the thoughts of being able to think through, like, can we have that on board? You know how many times I've had to take a whole card out of a card or a rack out of a system and replace it, or we don't have the card and I've got a guy like soldering the capacitor or whatever. The ability to print that on demand, I think absolutely, Marty. So that, again, someone, I've seen a lot of this stuff and I have not seen nor heard of that, and maybe some of our Navy customers have not as well, and I think that would be remarkable.
Fantastic. Good points there. Marie asks, is this challenge solely focused on platforms or does it include weapon systems as well?
So I kind of answered down the last one. We are looking at shipbuilding capacity, right? That's the main emphasis of this. There will be some of the weapon systems PMs in the room, so absolutely that we can entertain those as well. But the initial push was for the actual shipbuilding itself.
Fantastic.
I agree with Marty, and I'm writing it down for next year's Maritime Innovation Forum to be weapons related. So this year, shipbuilding and ship capacity, ship repair.
And I wouldn't be surprised if energetics was added next year as well. Right?
That's right.
Okay, great. Here's another detailed one. Would new base materials be entertained, or is it limited to coating surface engineering only?
Yes, base materials are absolutely fair game at this point. As you know, if you're going to introduce a new base material, you're probably a little further on the lower end of the TRL scale, just because so many other things then have to be done on the testing and certification side after that. But absolutely, if you've got a better material to use in a particular application, we'd love to hear about it.
Totally.
Okay. All right. Would services be acceptable for the challenge? We're in an engineering services company that provides design optimization, costing, benchmarking, and manufacturing optimization.
I would say from an innovation standpoint, absolutely. If we're talking about potentially innovating how planning is done, how workflow is impacted, all of those things are fair game.
Okay, let's see. There's a lot of them in here, guys. Getting through the weeds. This is good. Keep them coming. All right, regarding the robotics and automation, area of interest, is this referring to the output of a manufacturing process or how robotics and automation are used in the manufacturing process itself?
I don't see any reason why it wouldn't be both.
All right. If you're a component provider, can we provide proposals for sensors and components, or is it just subsystems and systems?
I'm trying to think that one through, Scott, and you have the same look as I do on your face at the moment.
My look was my computer seemed to not work, but I think you got me now. I can see the little thing.
You're good.
I'm sorry, Katie, could you repeat it? I was fully focused on getting my audio back.
No, you are fine. And now I have
Subsystems?
subsystems. Yes, I have to find the
Yeah,
question.
absolutely. I mean, at some component level, any improvement in a subsystem, like if you look at a lot of the use cases where a subsystem or a part delays the manufacturer for months, if you can get a subsystem printed out there and done in a quicker fashion, absolutely.
Okay, great. All right. How would joining a consortia assist in potential future work with the U.S. Navy or other government clients? Who wants to grab that?
That's Marty.
I'm happy to take that one. So as I pointed out on our website, there are plenty of options for various consortia out there. If you're in some of them, you already know how it works. But if you're not in any, uh, take a look through, find one or two that kind of best fit, match up with your capabilities, and join and kick the tires, see what it's like. The collaboration that occurs is highly valuable. Our Navy sponsors are always looking for new innovators who have new ideas. So please take the opportunity. As I say, some of them are absolutely free. You just have to sign a very simple consortium management agreement. And you'll get visibility into the requirements that are coming out of the Navy. You'll get opportunities to interact with other potential partners, people you might be able to join up with. You'll also get to see what some of your competitors are getting to see. So if you're not part of at least one of these, give it a try, see if you like it. You may find you end up in 6 or 7 of them. We certainly have plenty of companies that are involved in almost every one of our consortia.
And Marty, shameless plug, I did just update our website, so it's ati.org/collaborations. If you go to that, we have a search bar. You put in your website, so www.mcg.com, and it will look at your website, find what you do, and then recommend the appropriate consortiums for you. You click the link, and it'll take you straight to the joint page. So hopefully that's as easy as possible. Literally updated last week. I'd love any positive and negative feedback on that, though, but should be as easy as possible to get to the right collaboration for your company.
Okay, fantastic. All right. So there are a lot of questions that are asking about confidentiality, and I can tell you that all submissions and pitches should be non-confidential in nature. So just for anybody that asked that, there's your answer there. Are solutions proposed needing to be FedRAMP approved?
No, for this effort, right? Um, because we're looking for innovation. And we know that some innovations are not ready for prime time, right? So absolutely, it doesn't have to be FedRAMP approved. That's the type of thing that maybe as we move forward, as it gets further along in the development phase, that's something that has to be addressed. But for the innovations, no.
Okay, great. Thank you. All right. So are cybersecurity solutions for shipbuilding suppliers of interest?
Yes.
That was a quick one.
Absolutely.
Thank you. All right. Let's see. Bear with me here. All right. Are SBIR technologies appropriate to submit?
Repeat that again, please.
Are SBIR technologies appropriate to submit?
Okay.
This
Yes,
is coming from
absolutely.
Carl.
Yeah. I didn't hear one of the letters, so yes, SBIRs, absolutely. Uh, those of you in the innovation world, there are many different funding vehicles that are potentially available, and I suspect that you put your ideas into many of those different pots to try and get funding. So, absolutely, SBIR is welcome.
Okay, fantastic. All right, we have 4 minutes of questions left. I'm going to try to get to as many as possible. If we don't get to them, we will follow up with you after the webinar. So know that. No, do not fret. Patrick is asking, okay, so you mentioned the need to improve the workforce pipeline for shipbuilding. Are workforce planning and measurement innovations appropriate?
Yes.
Okay.
And when I give a one-word answer, it's because it's because absolutely, right?
All right, great. That means it's powerful. All right. All right. Can you share the link to the paper that was mentioned? I believe that was you, Scott. So,
I could send it to you. I will send it to you and Katie right now. Are you and Laura right now? And
or you could just throw it in the
you
chat.
put it.
That would make it easy.
Okay. All right.
All
If
right.
it's
Chat
a
will be up
document,
in.
I can
Oh,
attach it as well. So feel free to send it to me and I'll get it
okay.
attached. Yep.
Okay.
All right. Working through them. All right. Would development of automation and AI be considered in manufacturing?
Yes. Yeah, there are just so many applications for that across the manufacturing space. Absolutely.
Okay. All right. So answer live. All right. So can you explain the challenge? Is this a bake-off between companies that will happen at the event? Okay. Is it that a subset of submissions will be selected and then those companies have an opportunity to present? Just trying to get my head around it and understand. All right, Manuel. So the finalists, up to 20, will pitch on stage at the event for 5 minutes, followed by a 2-minute Q&A. You're going to pitch in front of a panel of judges, and then the winner will be announced on site. For everyone that wants to know how that pitch works, your answer is there. Okay, and it looks like we have that link up there in the chat now to that paper for everybody that was interested in that. Would performance and process improvement be considered?
Absolutely. Process improvements are vital, right? No question about it.
Okay. We have a lot of questions, gentlemen.
Good.
All right, how many ideas are allowed? I think we answered that one. There's a lot of that. Is it possible to provide the recording? We're getting a lot of that. It will be posted on techconnect.org right after this, so you can share it and reference it.
We'll also post it to the challenge website as well.
Thank you, Laura. All right, getting there, guys, getting there. Ooh, Would development of automation and AI be considered in manufacturing? I think, Marty, you're going to go yes.
Yep.
I would just put a hesitation mark on AI solutions. Things that are mostly proven would be more valuable than, we'll say, TRL level 2 or 3 LLM type things. So just a caveat from our time talking to NAPC to this date.
All right. And with that, it looks like time is up. Again, we're going to follow up with all of the questions that were unanswered, and there are a vast amount. So don't fret, we will get those answered. I want to thank Marty. Thank you, Scott, for your genius and your brain. And thank you all for attending today. There's a lot of hype around this event. It's a big deal. So if you're going to get your innovation in, get it in by June 17th, and hope to see you this August. All right, everybody. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Kate. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.